And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for being here. Come on in. Man, boy, Brian, these shows just keep getting more and more interesting, man. I had a worry. I had a fear that the more we watch film, of course the players get a little worse than when we first started watching film. But
sure.
I have been pleasantly surprised by some of the guys that we keep running into. Some of them are just who I thought they were, but there are a handful that are shocking to us. We're going to talk about the players that we did for our homework assignment in a minute, Brian. But I think we had a very explosive show on the draft show today. And I think it's your fault. I think you walked in wanting to start a fight because I know you. And
no, man.
I think the fight you wanted to kick off was Walter Nolan. But the fight you got was Jalon Walker. But go ahead.
See, the thing about it was the thing with Nolan, I kind of feel like you and I are on the same page.
Yes.
I can't get Tommy to fight with me on that.
Yeah.
I can't. Now, but the thing about it is, I think we're all kind of now haven't talked to Bobby about Nolan. Mm-hmm. Haven't really talked to Nick Harris about Nolan. And I think if we did a show where it was me, you, and Nick, there might be some discussions. But like I say, I haven't done a show with Bobby in a while, or you haven't done a show with Bobby in a while either, where I kind of know, I know where Tommy is on this. Tommy really likes the player.
Sure.
You know, and I think Zach is more on board with, or more in line. I shouldn't say on board.
Yeah.
More in line of, gosh, I really want to like this guy. But at times his film doesn't allow me to like him.
Sure.
And the discussion that we get, like with Wolchuk, he's on board with Walker. You know, he's on board. Now he's like you, he's got him on an edge. Mm-hmm. Kavanaugh, who I did Trust the Tape with this morning,
sure,
he is really committed to Walker. Like he's committed to Walker at 12 is where he's at.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where I'll tell you what, man, rereading Campbell today, I might have him too low in the second round.
I think Campbell's going to be a bona fide first round guy for sure. Yeah.
And that kind of, it kills me sometimes when I read these guys. I'm like, damn, I wrote this guy in a way that he deserves to be a round higher, or I wrote him in a way that he needs to be a round lower.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you go back and when you really, you know, when you're doing, when you have like, oh, well, I've studied 12 players. Okay, great. When you've studied 115 players,
guys get pushed down the board a lot. Yeah.
Guys get pushed down and you're like, I did not like this guy more. And we're going to talk about a kid tonight.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple of kids.
Don't even tell me, Brent. Just surprise me.
One in particular. But we're late. Not we're late. These kids didn't get on our radar when we were watching
to the bowl games and stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Well, like there were a couple of these kids, the Senior Bowl kids. They're like, well, where was this guy when I was studying the first 50 players? You know, where was this guy I was studying? You know, where, so I could compare him to the players. But I'm going to die on the Walker Hill. I'll die on that one. I'm interested to see how he turns out as a player.
I actually got a little help today, Bryan Broaddus. Somebody sent me a text in solidarity. Our good friend John Owning, he says, "Voch, I'm with you." You know what I'm saying? So this isn't just a cut and dry. Everybody's on this side, but Voch is just being contrarian.
No, man.
I think there's a lot of guys all over the board.
I don't do it. Yeah, no, I totally. There are NFL scouts that are on your side right now. You know, there, and you know that is the beauty of what we get the opportunity to, you know, we don't get to do it on the NFL level, but we close to where if we get to evaluate, and if you've seen enough of these guys, it kind of, you kind of sort it all out.
Sure.
And I have the utmost respect for John Owning. if John and if we were all together, and I'm sure that me and Jeff and Wolchuk would line up, and you and John would line up, and
we should.
There would be a day-long discussion, like like we had on our show the other day.
Yeah,
I do not hate the player. Mm-hmm. I do not. You know that.
Yeah.
I act like I love the player. Mm-hmm. I think the player's got some value to him. I think he's got some really good value to him. Now, but I'm also, and I'm not scared. There's some players, I shouldn't say scared.
Sure.
There's some players that I'm nervous about that I'm like, is this guy better than what the tape is showing me? Is this guy, am I missing this guy? Am I missing this guy because of a prejudice or something against him?
You trust your evaluation of Jalon Walker. Everybody just got it different. But there's some guys you look at it and go, man, did I miss this guy? Or did I get this guy right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that with a couple guys too. Let me pull my big board up, Bryan, and get ready for you. The audience seemed to like what we were doing with the Jalon Walker fight today. And that's how I kind of wanted to walk into it, man. I just didn't want us to repeat all the same points. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want us to read off paper. Like if I loudly disagree, I want to bring it to you. Go ahead.
I wish that's where the old days of, if you could have been with me and Jeff and Helmet, and nothing against Tommy and Kyle, and it's a, like I say, you get, there were some guys today, like if Jeff was there, he would have lined up. If John Owning was, like I say, for you, he would have lined up, and it wouldn't have been the same points. There would have been more discussion about the player. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there would have been, in the old days, if we were in a room in a draft room talking about this, there would have been some dudes going to lunch pissed off that they didn't get their way. And there's some dudes that are like, okay, we won that battle. We're probably not going to win the next one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're probably, we're arguing. It's going to be, it's one of those things where you look at all these players, and then as they play, and then a couple NFL seasons in, we're going to say, boy, Voch was sure right about that guy, or Jeff was sure right about that guy. That's kind of where this thing goes, but you keep moving on. You get kind of, like, man, that was a good discussion. Did he sway me? Hell no, he didn't sway me. I'm dug in on this guy.
Right.
There's some guys you have to, like, we've had some discussions about some of these offensive linemen, guards, tackles, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. That I think that you've kind of said, well, hey, think about it this way. And I'm like, damn, he's right. He's right about that. So, hats off to you. But this is one that this is one where we have a little bit of a disagreement about where the player probably should be playing and where he could be playing his absolute best.
Yeah. Bryan, me and you was backstage smiling like a mug, boy. We was just giggling and smiling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, when we get to our 120th player or whatever, Bryan, it's, it's, we run into a lot of players that we just obviously won't like because we're outside of that top 100. We just,
Right. Yeah.
We were really excited about one of our four. Yeah. So for the homework assignment, everybody that's listening right now, I gave everybody Jalen Rivers, the tackle from Miami, Elijah Roberts, the edge from SMU, Brashard Smith, running back, SMU, and Nohl Williams, the cornerback from Cal. Now, Bryan, I got 2 5s, a 4, and a 3.
You put Nohl Williams in the 3rd. You put the running back Smith in the 4th, and you put the edge and the tackle in the 5th.
The tackle's in the 5th, but I got the edge in the 4. I got 2 4s and a 5. So you are right. You are, Bryan.
Yeah.
So Jalen Rivers.
I'm sorry. I thought you said 2 5s. My
2
bad.
4s. 2 4s and a 5. 2 4s and a 5.
2 4s and a 5. Okay, so yeah, you had Williams in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Smith and Roberts in the 4th, and Rivers in the 5th.
We're not going to talk about Rivers very long tonight, Bryan. But there's no Williams
kid. I think he's a guard, though. I think Rivers.
I agree.
I think Jalen Rivers, tackle Miami, should be a guard.
Size and length, feet probably won't be the best versus these bendy, bursty dudes. Kind of tall in the stance. He can be a little strong if you run directly at him, but he doesn't really sustain and latch on. You could easily get off of him. I don't really have a whole bunch to say about Jalen Rivers. I got him in the 5th. I like what you're saying at guard because that's exactly what I was thinking. I ranked him at tackle because that's just kind of what he is, and I think that's what teams may have him as. But if he's at guard, he may be like a 4th-round guard or something like that, but he's a 5th-round guy for me in general, so maybe they'll take him there.
Yeah, see, this is where now the last before we had, these guards, I mean, we've got, got the West Virginia kid, Millam, Zabel, Ratledge, 3rd round. Jonah from Zona, 4th round guy on your board or 5th round guy as a guard?
4th round.
Okay. So you have Jonah from Zona in the 4th, and then Rivers in the 5th. That's how it looks for you right now.
So my guards in the 4th round, I got Belton, NC State.
Okay.
He's my first 4th round guard. Then I got Jonah, and then I'll say Rivers. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got Wilson. Who is Wilson is our center from Georgia. Yeah, I wasn't really blown away.
Yeah.
With him either. Yeah. So yeah.
See, and it's funny. Pro Football Focus today, and I was looking up. They had players, top 5 players that are plug and play guys. They had Wilson number 5 on their plug and play guys.
I think they're missing something, and I'm not even about to entertain it. I think they're missing something. It's all right.
I kind of shot a glance. I looked at Wolchuk and I said, "You seen Wilson play from Georgia yet, center?" He goes, "No." I go, "Okay." I just was curious because if Zach would have said I have him in the 3rd, I would have said, "Okay, maybe I need to do some more." I don't think I need to do some more. The kid's a 1-year player.
Sure.
We'll see. We talked about him in length. I think we're okay with him. But yeah, okay. You're going to talk about Nohl Williams first, the corner from Cal.
I was pleasantly surprised, Brian.
How about that?
Really good size. You know what I'm saying? The size of him really, really jumps off the page here. And man, I just have a thing for these dudes that are smart, that read the eyes of the quarterback.
Yep.
That don't fixate on the wide receiver and get picks. Brian, these dudes that find the football and get picks and get their hands on the ball, Brian, I just have a soft spot for them kind of dudes.
Yep.
They play them in man and zone.
Mm-hmm.
You remember I was talking about the kid from Iowa State? I was like, yeah, man, he long
and
tall.
Porter.
I was like, he long and tall. He may not, be a good man cover guy, but as long as he's long and tall, he can be a cover 3 guy.
Yeah.
Cal plays a bunch of cover 3 with this character.
They do.
They play some man with him. I seen him in the nickel a couple times too, Brian, which is interesting.
He does, yeah.
I kept looking for games for him. I kept wanting to watch him. You know what I'm saying? Syracuse was a game that kind of jumped out to me. It was like one more game. Like it wasn't Michigan, but Brian, I was watching him, and you could see him run the routes for the wide receiver. You could see him stay in phase. You can see him kind of navigate to his zone or whatever. And it doesn't matter where the quarterback ain't got to throw the ball at his receiver.
Yeah.
The quarterback could be throwing the ball somewhere else.
Right.
He plays the football, right?
He does. He absolutely does.
He plays the football. Yeah. I think he has some really good length. I think they ask him to do some press man stuff. And I don't really see him jamming guys up like that. I don't really see him.
Oh, yeah. No, he will. He will.
You know what I'm saying?
He will.
He will. But I know that the length helps with that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as a physically imposing, like a big, strong type guy, I didn't really see that. But I saw the length help him with pressing at the line of scrimmage, Brian.
Yes, sir. And this is where, when I watched Nohl Williams play,
sure,
I thought the best thing he did was play press man.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, where was this before? Stanford, SMU. There's a couple of games you can watch there. I love the way this kid competes.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he plays well at the line of scrimmage. I think his jam. I think there's some force to it. I think this kid, 6'1", 200, he's got a kind of a physical presence to him when he plays up tight. And so he could stay connected, and he plays with physicality. He's not afraid to mix it up. He doesn't shy away from contact. I think the ball skills are exceptional with this kid. When the ball's in the air, it's his. He puts himself in position to make plays, to make those types of plays. The guy, I think this guy's a bully. I think he's a bully cornerback. I mean, bully and like beating up dudes that he's playing against. And like downhill against the run, attack the screen. SMU tried to throw a screen on him in the flat. He was the only one out there. Bam, tackle, -4, you know? I mean, he could flip his hips. He could stay in the hip pockets of receivers. The way he reads quickly. You talked about the smarts. There's a burst to close in space. I mean, the deep speed, you saw that a little bit. There's some times with the inside routes, you know me and my inside routes, got him a little bit. But in coverage, he understands how to play it. And you talk about reading the route and running the route with the receiver. This kid could do it. And the more you really dig in on him and start looking and reading about him, he's a big-time special teams player too. You know, he is like a returner. Yeah. Like he is a catch the ball and go guy. You know, sidelines, run through, like ball in hand. He's kind of making things happen. I'll tell you what, I put him in the 3rd round, and I got him. And you know how much I like Hairston from Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know,
got him over him. Yep.
And kind of okay. Hairston, kind of a press man guy, kind of get up on you, kind of run with you. Him and Williams, I've got them both in the 3rd round. And that's, you know, because I kind of like, but I will say this, man, the length of Williams, as you mentioned, is impressive. I could see if somebody had him above Hairston. And I think they both can play press man coverage and play it well.
Bryan, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
I was expecting, see me real quick.
Please.
I was expecting like, okay, he's going to be a 5th round guy, you know, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, is he better than Dodson and Bryan at Kansas? Is he better than Alexander at LSU? Yeah, he's better than all those guys. And he's got this kind of size that I like, that kind of the right build, the right mentality, the right demeanor about the way he plays. I like the way the toughness that this kid plays with.
Bryan, first of all, I want to thank you for making me do a board because I could see it. And me being able to see it helps, right? So thank you. Bryan, I'm just processing this as we talking about it, right? I got Nohl Williams over Dotson, Hairston, and Porter in the 3rd. Cool.
Okay, so you got Porter. See, I've got Porter. I got Porter in the 2nd.
Okay.
Porter's my last guy in the 2nd round. Last guy.
Bryan, Nohl Williams or Azariah Thomas from Florida State.
Thomas from Florida State. But I tell you what, man. Thomas, I have a 2nd round grade on him.
Me too.
There's some plays. Absolutely, yeah.
Thomas probably runs a little better, but I think Nohl may be the better corner, like the better technical guy.
Might be. Yep.
Trey Amos, press cover guy.
Yep.
You know, I think that's a real conversation amongst, like, he's in the conversation with them guys too, Bryan.
Man, you've got me in a blender right now.
Nohl Williams doesn't have the notoriety of we've been talking about him since January. But the film is up there with some of those other guys, Bryan.
Yeah, you're right about that. There's some really, when you started mentioning Thomas is a press man. Thomas will run with you. Thomas will carry you inside, though.
Yeah.
Saw that. Probably runs, as you mentioned, a little bit quicker, a little bit better.
Yeah.
The physicality that Nohl Williams plays with, man, that might put him high on a lot of boards. Sure. That dude can cover.
Yeah.
And he'll tackle.
He get picks too, bro.
He will.
He get
and
picks.
he gets picks.
He gets
picks. Yeah. He had 7 of them, I believe.
7.
Yeah.
Brian, I think I'm not done with Nohl Williams. Ranking
as a second rounder.
I got him in
second rounder.
I got him in the 3rd right now, Brian, but I could wake up one day and be like, man, Azariah Thomas is technically flawed sometimes, you know, or he may not get as many picks, or Adrian or Trey Amos doesn't really take the football away like that. I can really see myself making a case.
I don't. You know what? I would not be surprised when we get to day 2 and somebody's talking about Nohl Williams in the 2nd round getting picked over Thomas, Amos, Porter, those guys. I could absolutely see that. I could, I'm looking for reasons.
Sure.
I'm looking for reasons, and maybe when it's all said and done, I got to go through and read Thomas and read Amos. I mean, I read Amos. I think we did Amos. We talked about Amos a little bit today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We talk about
Kyle had him as a 1st round guy. I think
Kyle had him in the 1st round.
Kyle's very, very generous, but I got him in the 2nd though. And
I do too. I do too.
I got Nohl Williams at the top of my 3rd, and that could be like a bottom of the 2nd guy. I don't know, but
that's got real possibilities there.
Yeah.
That's got real possibility. Yeah, that's got real possibilities.
Chat, please tell us what y'all think about Nohl Williams. I was pleasantly surprised to watch him. All right, let's bring the excitement down a little bit. Not too bad, but let's bring it down just a smidgen. Let's go over the pass rusher next, Brian, because I did like his tape. I did like his also. We're talking about
Elijah Roberts, SMU.
Yeah. Now he's a guy that I think he has a good feel for pass rushing. He has a good understanding of how to get to the quarterback. Some really good size on him. When I saw him, the first thing I noticed was how big and physically imposing he looked. I don't have a height and weight on him, but he looked humongous.
6'3", 290 is what he measured in at.
He's Nick Scordon size. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be Brian. But the size is imposing. I love his punch, that first initial strike. I think he has a good way of keeping guys off of with his arm length. I think I think he doesn't really lose any points in the run game department. I wouldn't call him a very dominant type run game guy, but I don't think he don't lose points there. But as a pass rusher is really where he makes the babies, Brian. And they use him as a pass rusher in a lot of different ways. They'll use him as the edge standing up. They put him in B gap. Even in some of these gap exchanges, I noticed they'll really make him loop around and try to get a bunch of pressure, and it works. One of these plays, I believe it was Syracuse. I just mentioned them again. I just saw him just run down the middle of somebody's face and just get a damn sack. Just a very relentless, just relentless type.
Did you happen to see Penn State?
I didn't see Penn State, but I know he got 2 sacks in that game, but I didn't see it.
Okay, he just went over the top of that left tackle.
Okay,
from Penn State.
Okay,
Literally, like you're going, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that my guy? Oh, that's my guy.
Brian, I wouldn't call him consistently bendy, but he flashes it, right? Like sometimes you'll see him bend and get around those guys. But I think for the most part, he wins with quick hands and like change of direction type stuff. That's really where where you win. Or just being quicker than some guard on the inside. Like he really does. He really does that a lot. Brian, I got him in the 4th, man. I like him. I have him. Roberts, I got him over Landon Jackson and over Josiah Stewart, and I'm thinking about putting him over Scorden because how I just keep dropping Scorden, but I like Elijah Roberts a lot, Brian.
Yeah, I have him in the 4th round as well, and I have him behind Ivy in that crew where with Jackson, Robinson, Birch, Ivy. I think they're kind of all in that group right there in that 4th round.
Yeah.
You know what? I did like this kid against the run.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the Clemson game and then the Penn State game, and I think he's got strength at the point of attack. And I think it allows him to play the run that way. Mm-hmm. The leverage, the pad level. He's not going to get knocked off his mark.
Yeah.
It plays along the line of scrimmage. I've seen him line up, as you mentioned, as a 3. a stand-up edge. The hands are super active, and there's some pop. There's some pop in those hands. Mm-hmm. I did think he had a little bit of some problems with some of the finishing tackles that he had. Mm. There was some, like a couple of times where he just didn't finish right where he needed. His career at SMU, by the way, this kid was a transfer from Miami to SMU. And the first step, I did not see the first step quickness as a pass rusher. I think the way he creates pressure is just through effort and power. Mm. That's kind of where I think he is right now. Like I say, the Penn State game, he just goes right over the top of that left tackle. And he and this is what I said, and you brought it up. I said, falls in the area of the non-bendy guys, but the sacks were there. It's 17 in 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The last 2 seasons. So that's a lot. And I feel like he could be a base end, and then you can kick him inside. You know who this guy reminded me of?
Who's that?
This guy reminded me of Tyrone Crawford. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Good size,
kind of
plays
kind
both
of like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's an end.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a 3. He's playing the run. Yeah. He's getting upfield. He's being strong. Does he have pass rush moves?
Just say Michael Bennett, Brian. People are like you saying Michael Bennett more than Tyrone Crawford. People don't like the name Tyrone Crawford when they hear it, Brian. Just say Michael Bennett.
But he reminded me, remember we was talking about Crawford, like, where's Marinelli going to play him? Is he going to play him as the edge? Is he going to play him as a 3? Is he going to, what's he going to do with this guy? What's he going to? So he reminded me of Crawford playing with power, not a whole lot of pass rush ability, but like effort and hands and strength and all that, kind of getting into the play. But that's what he kind of reminded me of watching him play, was a little bit of Tyrone Crawford.
Elijah Roberts or Nick Scorton?
I'd take Scorton here. All those things I said about that kid, I'm going to take Scorton. I know what you're doing. I'm not even looking at you right now. I'm not. Okay, let me hang on. 3-year player at Purdue, transfer to A&M, big edge, not a twitchy type of player, but good quickness off the ball, good upper body, lower body mass, very straight line speed, tends to win more with power than he does with quickness. More of a bull rusher type player, doesn't have many pass rush moves. One of the best is a spin move.
You don't sound excited. You don't sound excited reading that report.
I'm just reading. I'm reading him as like, he sounds very similar when you compared him. I mean, the last line it says his strength is a real plus with his ability to play with leverage. So at 6'4", it's 285 is what the measurements I'm working on right now with him. I have to update all these guys. I think you're kind of talking about somewhat of the same player.
It sounded like you drew a damn frowny face under that report, Brian. You ain't want to read Nick Scorton and smile. I bet. You got that right. You damn right. You put the John Madden patch up there. Nah, Brian. At some point, we can't be scared to drop Nick Scorton down this board, Brian.
John Madden.
We can't be scared. You look at Phil Collins ain't close. Brian, we can't be scared to keep dropping Nick Scorton down this damn list, Brian.
I'm not scared, but man, I read a report that sounded very similar to the guy I just wrote and I just talked about.
So why is one guy in the 4th? Where you got Scorton at? What round you got Scorton?
I got Scorton in the 3rd. I don't hate him as much as you do. I shouldn't use the word hate.
This dude got 17 sacks in 2 seasons, Brian. How many Nick Scorton got? If they both similar, they that close, but one guy gets 17 sacks in 2 seasons.
Let me make sure I have Scorton in the. I got in the 3rd.
How many sacks Scorton got? Purdue and Texas A&M over the past 2 seasons. How many sacks he got?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I don't know, Brian. Because Brian, we at least look at Roberts and go, okay, I like how he plays the run and he gets sacks.
Yeah.
Scorton, we go, all right, he big, so I guess he'll be a rundown guy. But he's not a pass rusher at all. I don't see pass rush when I talk about scoring.
Yeah.
We just talking, man. It's just conversation. Me and you will cross this bridge again.
No. I understand. I mean, to me,
and I'm not trying to bury Scourton. Like, this class just keeps showing up. This edge class just keeps showing up. That's the problem.
See, this is the problem I have, because you're right with guys like Roberts, and he should be in that mix because he's not one of the bendy guys that we're talking about. But you do have to grade production. And I don't know how you could have one at the top of the third and one at the bottom or one at the bottom of the third and one at the top of the fourth, when one of them has clearly better production than the other guy. That's fair. No, that's fair. Here, I'm be honest with you. I am worried I'm going to be really wrong about Nick Scourton.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm honestly, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to think, and there's going to be games and like he's going to make plays, and then I'm going to be like, damn it, why didn't I see that? But it is what it is, man. You gotta trust what you see. Yep. I told you from the jump, I've had such a problem with these A&M kids.
Yep.
And every time they get in a discussion, I can't justify keeping him where he is. And you're right. I'm going to keep dropping, you're right. You're right.
I got to rewatch him. We'll see. I'll rewatch him.
No. I am not.
You're not fighting for Scourton, but you're right.
I'm not fighting for Scourton. And you know what? This is where I'm doing a disservice to the people listening to us right now. I don't know what he's going to be.
Sure.
I see a big guy, and I don't, and that makes me like, usually I can watch these players and figure out what they're going to be. Yeah. Usually I can't.
Sure.
Him, I can't. And it's bothering the F out of me right now.
Yeah.
Because he probably is a fourth round player. He probably is. Like, well, okay, Bryan, and you even said it. One guy's got 17 sacks. Where's the other guy's sacks? Where's the other guy's sack number? Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
And it's not like they don't give.
I can't bring myself to drop him like that.
Because Bryan, Roberts gets chips and double teams too. When you watch the film, those running backs chip the hell out of him too.
You're right.
So it ain't like Scourton's getting superstar treatment, getting doubles and triples, and Roberts is not. Roberts getting triple.
No.
I can make the argument that the A&M kids got it easier because it's three of them. It's three or four of them. He the only one on the SMU line going crazy like that. And they double and triple him. 17.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's worth talking about.
No, I know. I just, to me, and I always talk about not window dressing my board, but that is a bad example of window dressing because I don't know what the player's going to be. And I put him there, and I pray that somebody takes him other than my team.
I'm gonna drop him, but I don't like this. This probably my last time dropping him because now we in Landon Jackson and Josiah Stewart territory.
Yeah. There you go.
But this is my last time drop. I'm gonna keep Elijah Robinson in the fourth, but I'm putting him over Scourton.
Do you feel like you have a good handle on Scourton?
I think I do, Bryan. I think I do. I've gone back to watch him.
Save my ass then. Save me because I don't.
I've gone back to watch him 3 times, Bryan. Twice on Patreon. And what I'm noticing with Scourton, you're not wrong, Bryan. Sometimes these guys jump off the film, right? Yeah. Everybody ain't got to jump off like Abdul Carter, but some guys do just jump off the film. Princely, Donovan, Sorrell, all those guys jump off the field. And look, that don't mean bursty guy. Because JT Tuimoloau as a run defender jumps off the film.
It's not a bursty guy. Yeah.
As a run defender, because you at least can walk away going, man, JT is really good with identifying the blocks and all the run stuff. He's not bursty, twitchy, bendy, but I at least know what he is. Nick Scordon looks aloof sometimes. He comes off the line and doesn't really do very much at all. I have a problem with those guys. I have an issue with the guys that I can't get a handle on because you're just not doing much. If Nick Scordon was simply a power guy, but he wasn't bendy, there was a place for him. I'm saying he's a power guy because when he does something, it looks powerful, but I don't really see Nick Scordon jumping off my film like that.
Yeah.
And there's fifth round guys that jump off our film. Our Q Robinson from Alabama jumps off the film, but he's still a fifth round pick because I don't see Scordon jumping. I don't identify nothing from him.
Yeah.
He looked just like Clelin Ferrell. I remember watching Clelin Ferrell going, man, I don't identify nothing with Clelin Ferrell. You watch Wilkins get off the ball, the same Clemson team, right? You watch the other defensive end that they had. You watch those Clemson, I forgot his name, but you watch those Clemson guys jump off. I didn't see Clelin Ferrell jump off nothing. I didn't identify nothing with him. I got that same feeling about Scordon. You big as hell. You probably should be playing 3-tech. I might respect it a little more, but I don't see you doing much. And I got to respect the guys that's jumping off the damn film.
No, you're right about that. This, to me, I started off with this player bad, and for me, it's gotten worse because I'm seeing guys that I'm like, how can you have a guy there when you have other ones that are maybe a little bit better there? And that he's the one guy on my board. There's a couple that I don't know. I just don't know. But you make excellent points. He's not jumping off the tape. That's my problem.
Sure.
That's my problem. I mean, I should be saying, no, I mean, I should be saying everything that you just said about the player. And I'm thinking he's got to be a better player than this.
Especially if they talking about drafting him in the damn 20s. We not saying that. We saying he gonna go. We saying we would take him in the 3rd and 4th, but there's 3rd and 4th dudes jumping off the film. There's people doing mocks right now talking about taking him at 20 something. He not doing nothing worth 20 something. Respectful.
Right. Yeah.
But Bryan tells about Rashad Smith, the running back from SMU. Let's say Let's say something positive about a player. Bro.
No. I've got to look at that whole thing with Scordon.
I'm gonna rewatch him.
I can't let it just. It's paralyzing me right now in that round. In that third. I can't get him out of that but I need to.
I'll do it Saturday. I'm gonna rewatch him Saturday, Bryan. Go ahead.
Everything you've said about the player is absolutely true. Everything you said. I have no legs to stand on about him. No legs. All right, running back, SMU. Thank you, though.
Yeah,
that was a very eye-opening conversation. I really do appreciate that.
All good.
I do learn something.
It's all good.
Okay. Smith. This is going to be our SMU runner.
Yep.
I'll tell you, this kid is an interesting guy. He was a wide receiver at one time in his life.
Looks like it.
Did you know that?
I didn't know it, but I could tell on the film.
Yeah, he was a wide receiver at one time in his life. He's a transfer from Miami, and he could take simple plays and make them huge chunk plays. I think the vision is really, really good for the position. I think he sees the field well. You could tell because of the wide receiver stuff, how he's able to kind of see the cutbacks. He quickly hits it. He can hit the hole quickly in a hurry. He's kind of a twitchy athlete who could stop. The change of direction is good. I think you can line him up at multiple positions. Like I said, he has a background and history as a receiver. And so you'll see him line up wide and they'll execute routes with him. And this son of a gun's got some natural hands.
Yeah.
And he had a play along the sidelines where, it was like the quarterback was scrambling to his right, threw the ball along the sidelines, kept both feet in bounds, caught the ball, fell into the end zone, that type of play. So he's able to adjust and do things. I think he plays with awareness, on the outside. That's what I was talking about with his feet, his footwork. His pass protection's got to improve. He just has not had many reps doing this, and you could tell. He's more of an athlete than he really is a true blocker when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The technique work is going to need for sure. the athletic traits combined with his running and pass catching abilities, I think makes him a legitimate, versatile offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Dynamic player in every sense of the word. You can use him as a kick returner as well. He was, I went back and looked at some metrics on him. He was 15th in the nation with 21 carries of 15 plus yards. And he only had 2 drops in 51 targets. So this kid has got some ability. Like I say, he can't really pass block well, but man, there's some things you could do with him. Hand him the football, throw him the football, and he's going to make some plays in space. I really, really do like this kid a lot. And for the things I wish, like I said, I've got him. I put him over my Auburn guy, Hunter, and I put him over the Rutgers guy as well. So he's my top back in the 4th round. So I've kind of got him in that mix, but he's the top one. I went back and I did some stuff on Giddings.
Mm-hmm.
I moved Giddings up to the bottom. So I've got the group of Smith, Hunter, Mungai, how do you say it? Mungai,
Yep.
And then Giddings, all in the 4th round. Those are all my guys kind of stacked in there right now.
My 4th is Judkins, Giddings, Smith, Hunter, and Mungai and them. Mungai,
yeah.
Mungai. So I think you did a great job painting a picture of the player, Bryan Broaddus. I always want to say that to you. I think some of his best work is outside. I love to see him, working outside and create more room. You know what I'm saying? He's a very dynamic runner, and you mentioned it earlier, Bryan. Like he's not just catching swings out the backfield. Like he's
it's downfield.
He's jumping over people downfield, Bryan. So I loved his athleticism, his burst. I wanted to see him be a little better inside the tackles, but I think that's gonna be a problem for him. He's just not accustomed to doing that yet. Sure.
Everything, like you said, is kind of on the edge or on the outside.
Yeah. He's kind of shorter, right? Like he's 5'9", maybe, Bryan? What is it?
The numbers that I was working off of was I had 5'10", 196.
Okay, that's good for you.
What I was working.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
Okay. But I think that's from the Senior Bowl, actually, where I got those numbers. Okay. That's a Senior Bowl number. Yeah.
I like the player, Bryan. I think he's gonna go to some tandem, and he's gonna be like the pass catching, change of pace guy. I didn't want to immediately call him a 3rd down back. You know what I'm saying? Because of the blocking situation. You know
the blocking is going to be something he's going to have to get better at for sure.
You got to get better at it. But right now he is a change of pace back with a lot of juice. If you got a running back and you want to pair him with a juice guy, I think Brashard Smith is a really good juice guy to pair along with somebody else. But Bryan, this has been an explosive Let me tell you what I've been doing over here while you've been talking. Let me just run over here. Let me just show you something because I'm messy, Bryan. Let me just show you what I got going on. I'm messy. I just been over here just watching our guy score and just trying to just watching him. Right.
You know what? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down and give the kid his due. I'm going to sit down and give him his due and see where we're at. Because like I said, they ball just go right by him there.
Yep.
Oh, don't do that to me, Nick. Don't do that to me, Nick.
Yeah.
Anyway, need to. I do, but like I said, he's been a tough player for me.
Yeah.
He has been a really, really tough player for me.
We'll get it. We'll get it done, Bryan. Yeah. He has great physical tools, man, but it's the football player stuff. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right about that. Absolutely right about that, for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to go into the comments, go into the chat, and respond to anything that we did here today. I know we did a lot. It was a long show, I feel you. But tap in with the Jalon Walker conversation that we had there on the draft show. Were we too high on Nohl Williams, too low? Tell us about some of these other players. If you're a fan of Jalen Rivers, if you're a Miami fan and you Voch, y'all wrong about Jalen Rivers, please tell us why we wrong about Jalen Rivers. Or if you love Nick Gordon, come on in there and tell him as he kind of run upfield and turn around or something. But me and Bryan are being incredibly honest about everything that we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Trying.
We are being honest. We're not just creating just to get a headline, just to be sensational, just to get people to talk, because we're already Voch and Bryan Broaddus. I say that humbly, respectfully, and we take this serious, man. So we're not just sensationalizing conversations and fussing. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Y'all be sure to tap in with me. VOCH. That was a good rep right there. Y'all be sure to tap in with me. VOCHLOMBARDI, and y'all be sure to tap in. Let me watch this one last play here. Let me watch this one play. Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. Number 18 over Will Johnson was a good play. I'm sorry. Scoring was over Emery not doing much.
Yeah.
Never mind. I take it.
Oh, we got to figure this guy out. I got to figure this guy out. Hey, can I do a real quick plug for somebody?
Hell yeah, please.
Our buddy Foots.
Hey.
Foots the King. Foots was doing a show with Zach Wolchuk tonight.
Okay.
And I'm sure they were digging in some. So after you digest our show for the night, we're doing all right. Make sure you give Foots and Wolchuk. I'm sure they had some really good draft conversations as well. I know Zach was taping it with him when I was leaving the studio tonight. So make sure you give those two fine gentlemen a look as well.
One day we'll get Zach and Foots back on the doing all right.
That'd be great.
Yep. And hey, we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. We love y'all. 2 pieces. Crown.